Now, a lot of you have been asking me to bring back my Didn't Make the Cut series of videos, and this was something that I know a few of you subscribers were really into, but a lot of the broader audience was not. And what I was doing in these videos was taking 2 or 3 products that I thought were pretty bad and doing a video about why I thought that way. Now, this is not me trashing the product. I was trying to come up with some really good reasons as to why you shouldn't buy it. But for whatever reason, that style of video just didn't work, and I wasn't getting the traffic that would warrant that much investment of my time. And I think what happened is a lot of people just don't want to watch a video about how bad something is. They want to see something good, and that's where we've kind of pivoted to. And I do, of course, have critical evaluations of products in my regular reviews, but typically, if I'm doing a product review, it's going to have a value to some portion of the market segment. And if there are portions that the product is not good for, we certainly talk about that. But I was thinking about this the other day, and you know what? I think the wrap-up might be a good place to bring this segment back. And then we can pull this out and throw it up on the Snippets channel and get some search traffic out of it. So that's what we're going to experiment with here rolling forward. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because I am down here shooting the video anyhow, and it's a good new segment we can put in to kind of freshen up this show a bit. So this week's product that didn't make the cut is the Nebula Soundbar with integrated Amazon Fire TV. I paid for this with my own funds. It cost about $229, and I thought this might be a good general consumer soundbar because I was really fond of the one that Roku put out just a few weeks ago that we looked at here on the channel. That one was very well integrated. They had a subwoofer option you could add onto it. It wasn't all that expensive, and I found it to be very easy to use for the consumer. This one is the opposite. Now, what it does do well is integrate the Fire TV into it. So when you turn it on, it will default into that mode. It supports 4K TVs. It supports HDR, both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. It'll support 60 Hertz. It does not have Ethernet on board, but it does support AC Wi-Fi. I think it lines up with the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. So all that is sort of good. But the bad is a much longer list of issues, and the first is the audio quality. Now, this is being sold as a 2.1 soundbar, which is stereo, plus the 0.1, which is supposed to be a subwoofer. And it says it has a subwoofer integrated, but the bass is almost non-existent. It sounds quite flat, doesn't have a lot of boom to it, and although the soundbar is loud and kind of crisp, like most soundbars are given how they're designed, it just doesn't sound that great with feature films, and I was hoping for a little bit more boom out of this, again, given that this is a device that supposedly has a subwoofer built into it. So just on audio quality alone, it lost me right there. The Roku had a much better range of sound even without the optional subwoofer that you can get with it. So that was a big strike against it right out of the gate. The other thing that really got me with this is that it's very difficult to switch between modes for the general consumer. So here's the remote. It looks a lot like the remotes you see on other Fire TV devices with the buttons down here that all these services paid to be on. And to switch out of Fire TV mode and over to maybe HDMI ARC, for example, you've got to hit this gear icon. And when you do that, you're going to see this thing start to blink, and you have to then hit to the right here to switch between modes. So you can see we're going from Fire TV to Bluetooth to ARC and back again. But if you forget that combination and you hit up instead, you start going into all of the different audio adjustments. So I felt that was really clumsy, especially given that people are going to want to switch modes on the soundbar quite frequently, especially if they have other devices plugged into it. Now, it does support analog inputs on it, so you can plug in your CD player or whatever. It also has optical inputs and, of course, the HDMI ARC support, which is the audio return channel. Now, on the Roku soundbar, ARC was automatic. I didn't have to switch into anything to get audio coming out of the television. So, for example, if I was playing a video game on a game console, that audio would automatically come out of the soundbar, no futzing around, it would just work. Here you've actually got to switch it into that mode every time, which was quite aggravating, especially because the ARC didn't work at all on my Samsung TV. And on my LG OLED upstairs, I had to put it into Fire TV mode first and then switch it over to ARC for it to pick it up for that device. So it really wasn't seamless, and I was surprised by how hard it was just to get some basic functions working with it. Now, it does come with a voice remote, so that was good. The problem, though, is that it's not automatically paired with the Fire TV. So when you first turn it on, it's IR only, and to get the voice function working, you have to manually pair it in Fire TV mode. At least that was my experience. It didn't prompt me to get the remote paired up initially. On top of that, the only time the voice commands work is when you're in Fire TV mode. So if you're in ARC mode and issue a voice command, you would think that perhaps it would respond to that. So if I wanted to, for example, maybe play something on Netflix, and if I issued that command while in ARC mode, nothing would happen. And of course, when you look at the Fire TV official devices, the Fire TV Cube would automatically go out and switch into the right inputs and get you all back up and running. Not on this one. You've got to just switch it back to Fire TV mode and then issue the voice command to get everything up and running. So it just feels clumsy and disconnected and not all that integrated. It doesn't sound all that great. It's a little bit expensive for what it is, and I think they need to go back to the drawing board on this one, or perhaps maybe Amazon can make their own and do a better job of this, because we've seen them doing some really nice speakers and some really nice Fire TV devices, and having Amazon make one I think would be much better than what they licensed here, and I'm having a hard time recommending this one to anyone, especially general consumers who are buying one of these things for simplicity. This thing is anything but. So let me know down below what you think of Didn't Make the Cut being part of the wrap-up. We're not going to do it every week, but whenever I've got something to talk about, we'll likely integrate it somewhere into the lineup here on the wrap-up show, but I do want to get your feedback on that first before we make that part of our semi-regular programming here. So let me know down in the comments section below. And now it's time for a Q&A.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters, the 4 Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.